Ja, guten Morgen, meine sehr verehrten
Good morning,
Damen und Herren.
ladies and gentlemen.
Hiermit eröffne ich die
I'm pleased to
ordentliche
declare the
Hauptversammlung
annual
der
general
SAP
meeting
SE
of shareholders of
und
SAP
übernehme als
SE open, and
Aufsichtsratsvorsitzender
as chairman of the supervisory board,
Vorsitz.
I will be presiding over
Im
today's
Namen des
meeting.
Aufsichtsrats
On
und des
behalf of the
Vorstandes
supervisory
heiße ich
board and the
Sie,
executive board, I would like to bid you, our shareholders and
Aktionärsvertreter,
shareholders' proxies,
Aktionärinnen muss da auch noch rein, herzlich willkommen.
a warm welcome.
Wir freuen uns sehr,
We are
Sie
especially
alle heute wieder
delighted
persönlich
to
hier
be
in der
able
SAP
to welcome you back to the SAP arena
in den
today.
letzten 3 ordentlichen
After
Hauptversammlungen
3
aufgrund
years of virtual events due to the pandemic-related restrictions,
abhalten
it is
konnten.
very nice to see you
Sehr schön,
all
Sie alle wiederzusehen.
in person again.
Aber selbstverständlich begrüße ich
But of course,
sehr
I
herzlich
also
alle
warmly
diejenigen
welcome
Aktionäre,
all the
die diese
shareholders who are
Hauptversammlung
following this annual general meeting today on the
Mein
internet.
Gruß gilt ferner unseren Gästen
I also welcome our
und der
guests
Genau den heute
and
anwesenden
especially
Vertretern
the members of the
des
press who are attending today's
Meine Damen
event.
und Herren,
Ladies and
üblich
gentlemen,
muss ich Sie
as
zunächst
usual,
mit den Formalien
I first need to announce the formalities of this AGM of shareholders. First up, the attendance of Executive Board and Supervisory Board members. For the record, all members of the Executive Board and the Supervisory Board are here today. I would also like to welcome Dr. Stefan Filmet, Notary Public, who will be taking the minutes of this meeting. Today's meeting was called with due notice in accordance with the legal requirements and the provisions of the Articles of Incorporation. The notice of the meeting was published in the Bundesanzeiger on March 31st, 2023, and a copy of the notice is available for your inspection at the speaker's table, and it will be annexed to the minutes. All notices that are required for convening the annual general meeting of shareholders were properly issued. The company has not received any counter-motions or election proposal from shareholders. The official meeting zone includes this main hall of the SAP Arena, plus all other rooms and areas in the SAP Arena that are accessible to shareholders after passing through security at the entrance. These include the side hall opposite the entrance area, where you will find the catering services, as well as the spectators' stairs, and the first floor, where there are more catering services. The meeting will be broadcast throughout the official meeting zone via loudspeakers. There's also a big screen in the side hall on which you can follow the meeting. The attendance register is computerized and constantly updated. There's a terminal at the speaker's table at which you can inspect the register anytime during the meeting. If you wish to leave the shareholders' meeting early, you can exercise your votes by appointing the employees of the company present for that purpose as your proxy. To do so, please use the relevant section of your voting document. Alternatively, you can entrust your vote to another participant. To do so, please complete the relevant section of your voting document and hand it to the staff at the door on your way out. Give your proxy your remaining voting documents. If you wish to leave the meeting temporarily or early and do not wish to appoint a proxy to vote on your behalf, please hand in your voting documents at the exit. Shareholders following our annual general meeting on the shareholder portal who wish to participate in the internet proxy appointment and instruction system, or who still want to vote electronically, have until the beginning of voting on management's announced proposals to submit or amend their votes, appointments, or instructions regarding these proposals. I will remind you of this accordingly when the time comes. All shareholders and proxies who wish to speak or ask questions are kindly asked to report to the speakers table as soon as possible. Please complete a speaker's request form. In particular, write your name and the number of your voting document clearly and legibly on the form. I must insist that every shareholder or proxy wishing to speak, without exception, first hand in a request form at the speaker's table and then wait until called to speak by me as chairperson of the meeting. When it is your turn to speak, please come to the microphone next to the speaker's table. Similar to the virtual meeting format in recent years, we gave duly registered shareholders the option to submit voluntary statement in video or text form in the run-up to this year's annual general meeting, which were then made available on the shareholder portal to all other duly registered shareholders. The objective here is to improve the involvement of shareholders in the annual general meeting and the exchange of opinions among them. We've received a statement in text from Oliver Elo, which we subsequently published on the shareholder portal. I would like to point out that the entire annual general meeting of shareholders is being publicly broadcast on the internet. As in our previous in-person annual general meetings, we are also allowing some television companies to broadcast highlights from Christian Klein's speech. However, these TV companies will only have access to a recording of the CEO's speech. The entire meeting is also being documented in sound and video for the record. If a shareholder or proxy objects to the recording of his or her speech, we will not record that speech. However, only what I'm saying now and the speech given by our CEO, Christian Klein, will be recorded and posted on the internet after the meeting. I would like to remind all of you here and those shareholders participating online that you're not permitted to make any sound or video recordings of the meeting yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, now to the agenda. Let us first take item 1. I can report that the following documents were available on SAP's website from the time the general meeting of shareholders was called. The 2022 SAP SE financial statements, the consolidated financial statements, the combined management report for the SAP Group and SAP SE, including the Executive Board's explanatory notes relating to the information provided pursuant to German Commercial Code sections 289a and 315a, the Supervisory Board report, and the Executive Board's proposed resolution on the appropriation of retained earnings. You can also inspect these documents electronically in the meeting room. Terminals have been set up for this purpose here in the main hall, at the booth in the side hall, and on the first floor between the info counter and the code check. The auditor, KPMG AG, Wirtschaftsprüfungsgesellschaft, examined the SAP SE financial statements, the consolidated financial statements, and combined SAP SE and SAP Group management report for fiscal year 2022 and issued an unqualified audit opinion. The Supervisory Board reviewed and approved the aforementioned documents in its meeting to discuss the financial statements on February 22, 2023. The SAP SE financial statements for 2022 were thus formally adopted. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take the opportunity now to talk about some of the topics for the Supervisory Board and I, as its chairperson, focused on in the past year. You can find the Supervisory Board's detailed report in the SAP Integrated Report. I would like to begin with Russia's horrific attack on Ukraine, which we also addressed at last year's annual general meeting. The images of the war that we have seen for over a year now are still unbearable, and unfortunately there is still no end in sight. Shutting down our operations in Russia last year was therefore the only correct answer from the Supervisory Board's point of view. Even if this led to revenue and profit losses for us. The exit process initiated by the Executive Board had to be adjusted several times in the past fiscal year to tightening sanctions and corresponding countermeasures taken by Russia, so this topic remained an ongoing focus of the Supervisory Board. In addition, the Supervisory Board continued to pay particular attention to SAP's transformation to a cloud company. SAP has taken further key steps in this regard through targeted investments and innovations, and we continue to see SAP on a good path that will also pay off for our shareholders. Looking at major economic trends such as digitalization and decarbonization, which no company in the world can afford to ignore anymore, SAP is very well positioned, both in terms of our own company and in terms of our product portfolio for our customers. Our innovative solutions help us and our customers meet these challenges, putting SAP more in demand than ever as an advisory partner at the side of our customers. And because sustainability is an increasingly important topic for SAP and our customers, the Supervisory Board has also looked very closely in recent months at the growing regulatory requirements, as well as the products and solutions we offer and continue to evolve in this area. For we are convinced that important new business opportunities will arise for us in this field going forward. Executive Board compensation was a further focus area for the Supervisory Board. We've revised the compensation system for the Executive Board, and on today's agenda we are proposing a new, substantially modified compensation system for resolution. This revision reflects a lot of investor feedback that Friederike Roche, in her role as lead independent director, and I received in our discussions with shareholders and shareholder representatives. The new compensation system being proposed today also addresses a number of the criticisms and new suggestions that were made with regard to the current system. Details can be found in the invitation to our annual general meeting of shareholders, which I refer to here. I would therefore like to ask you for your approval of this revised compensation system. I would like to turn now to a change in the membership of the Executive Board that was resolved by the Supervisory Board last year, following an intense search by the General Compensation Committee. The Supervisory Board appointed Dominic Assam as the new CFO with effect from March 7, 2023. He succeeds Luka Mucic, who, after 27 years with the company, retired from the Executive Board at the end of March 2023 by mutual agreement with the Supervisory Board. I would like to thank Luka Mucic once again for remaining fully involved in his role as CFO for a whole year after announcing his departure. We wish him all the best for the future. I'd like to welcome Dominic Assam to the meeting and ask him to briefly introduce himself to our shareholders.
Dear shareholders, of course I'm looking forward to meeting you and talking to you today, and would like to thank Hasso Plattner, the chairman of the supervisory board, for the opportunity to briefly introduce myself to you. My name is Dominik Asam, and I've been the Chief Financial Officer of SAP SE since March 7 of this year. Previously, I held the same position at Infineon for more than 8 years, and most recently at Airbus SE for 4 years. I studied engineering and graduated with an engineering diploma at Munich Technical University and the École Centrale Paris. Following that, I got a master's degree in business administration from INSEAD in Fontainebleau, and then I took up my first job at the American Goldman Sachs, and I worked for them as an investment banker in Frankfurt, New York, and London. And in this context, I specialized in particular on clients in the high-tech industry. During my almost 8 years at Goldman Sachs, various projects for Siemens and Infineon paved the way for me to move to Infineon. And I worked there also for a couple of years. Later, I took over responsibility at Siemens for corporate treasury, and then also became the CFO of their financial services division. After transferring to RW as head of corporate controlling, the opportunity arose to return to Infineon as CFO. So that's how I got there. During my career, I also held seats on various supervisory boards, for example, as chairman of the audit committee of Zalando SE, and I'm also still a member of the supervisory board of Bertelsmann Management SE and Bertelsmann SE & Co. KGaA. The central theme throughout my career has been my interest in high technology and in finance in all its facets. Now, for the reasons already mentioned by Hasso Plattner, I've always been following SAP's story also as a customer, and I can only confirm that the potential of digital transformation can be exploited by customers with the help of SAP. And by the way, my very first 200 Deutschmarks I earned as a programmer, and after graduating from high school, I served in the military close to this place with the German Air Force. So to speak, I'm going full circle now with my continuation here at SAP, and I'm looking forward to further develop the company together with all of the colleagues here. And I would like to thank the supervisory board and you all for the trust you placed in me. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you, Dominik. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to turn now to the matter of today's supervisory board elections and the supervisory board's elections proposals, and more specifically, our plans for my succession. For there will also be some changes in the membership of the supervisory board. As you will have read in the invitation to today's meeting, the mandates of 3 supervisory board members are expiring, which means that new elections have to be held. Gesche Joost, who has been a supervisory board member since 2015, is not standing for re-election. I would like to thank Gesche Joost on behalf of the entire supervisory board for her many years of service on the supervisory board. And I would also like to thank you personally, dear Gesche, for the close and very trusting partnership and for valuable contribution to the work of the supervisory board. You already know the 2 candidates standing for re-election to the Supervisory Board, Jennifer Lee and Ji Lu, who already introduced themselves to our shareholders in the virtual general meetings in 2022 and 2020. Both make important contributions to our Supervisory Board work with their expertise. Jennifer Lee as a financial expert and chairperson of the Audit Committee, and Ji Lu as a proven technology expert. I ask for your support for their re-election. In addition, we propose Punit Renchen for election to the Supervisory Board. We had already announced our nomination of Punit Renchen in February, as well as our decision to designate him as successor to the Supervisory Board chairperson. We believe that he is an excellent candidate who, with his outstanding expertise, his many years of experience in a global company, and his valuable knowledge of many industries, represents a gain for SAP and our supervisory board. And we will find him to be an extremely suitable and capable candidate to take over my role as chairperson of the supervisory board in the future. And I'm personally delighted that Punit Renchen, who has known SAP for a long time, was immediately keen to the idea of joining us and bringing all his strength and passion to the company. His collegial personality and impressive career convinced not only me, but all the supervisory board members alike that he is the right candidate for the task. I look forward to working together with him in the transition period following his election until I leave the supervisory board in May 2024. So I ask you to give him your confidence and to support him in his election as well. As Punit Renchen is standing for election by the shareholders for the first time today, I would like to ask him to briefly introduce himself. Punit?
Guten Morgen. Hello, it's truly my honor to be here today. The opportunity to serve on the supervisory board of SAP, an iconic company with such an incredible legacy, would be a privilege. Thank you for the invitation to share a bit of my story and to offer perspective on what I believe I can bring to the role of the supervisory board member and eventually chair. My story begins in Rohtak, a small town in northwestern India. A town so small, in fact, that we didn't even have street lights when I was growing up. As you can imagine, opportunities for young people in Rohtak were limited. So my parents sent me to boarding school at an early age, hoping to give me the education they knew our small town could not afford me. It was an inflection point in my life, one of many that would lead me to this moment standing here with you. A moment I can assure you that a boy from Rohtak would never have believed possible. In 1983, I earned a Rotary Foundation scholarship to attend university in the United States. The struggle to learn US customs and assimilate was truly humbling. But those were formative years, and the lessons learned about perseverance, resilience, and integrity have never left me. Soon after graduating, I received an offer to join a growing and innovative organization, Deloitte, and the rest, as they say, is history. From my early days as an M&A and transformation consultant to CEO of the Deloitte consulting practice, to US chairman, and on to global CEO, 36 years went by in a flash. While I'm no longer connected to Deloitte, I retired in December, I bear the honorary title of Global CEO Emeritus, a reminder of those 36 years of experience that have prepared me, I believe, to serve as SAP board member and chair. As global CEO of Deloitte for the last 7+ years, I led a complex global organization of 415,000 professionals working in 150 locations around the world. I know firsthand what it takes to build a global community. I believe my own experience as an immigrant helped me to be able to bring people together across vastly different cultures and leadership styles to work towards a common goal, and to do so with great success. When I began my tenure as global CEO, Deloitte had revenues of $35 billion globally. Today, it is a thriving, over $60 billion global organization, having undergone a transformation resulting in nearly doubling in size over just 7 years. Today, it is the leading quality organization and one of the most valuable commercial services brands. That is what a strong, connected, and engaged community of professionals can achieve. I take great pride in that. I've also spent many of my years at Deloitte in the field, working directly with clients from a variety of industries, helping them address their most complex business challenges, from integration to strategy, from culture to sustainability. I bring this experience with me to SAP. Further, I have been the lead partner on client engagements helping implement SAP software. I understand the power of what SAP brings to the table to help clients transform, grow, and mitigate risk. I also understand some of the pain points where customers feel SAP could do more. I know well the ecosystem that is such a critical distinguishing part of SAP, and I have the insight and experience to help navigate the complexities. Whether it's implementation partners like Accenture, Deloitte, or PwC, or with hyperscalers like Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. What I believe I can bring to the board table begins with the ability to effectively draw out and build on the deep technology expertise that already exists within SAP and on the supervisory board. But it's more than that. It's about a shared passion and vision for what SAP is and what I believe it can continue to be. It's about sharing in the belief that the founders of SAP had all those years ago in the power of integrating people, process, and technology. A belief that I have built my entire career on, that I've invested in and lived for the last 36 years. It would be the honor of my lifetime to bring that passion and experience to SAP. I understand fully the responsibility that comes with a role like this, particularly as a non-founder. Hasso Plattner is one of a kind, an icon, a legend, and he couldn't be leaving behind bigger shoes to fill. So I want to be clear from the outset, I am not, nor would I try to be Hasso Plattner. That said, I believe that as Puneet Ranjan, I have the perspective, experience, and passion to help SAP into the future. I'm inspired and excited about the potential that is yet to be unleashed for SAP. The last few years have been challenging for all businesses, but those challenges have opened the door to tremendous, tremendous opportunity. And SAP has the potential to be at the center of it all, to transform the way organizations of tomorrow operate. I would like nothing more than to help SAP in leading that transformation, to ensure your investment in SAP sees long-term success over the next generation. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Thank you, Puneet. Ladies and gentlemen, I now call on SAP's CEO, Christian Klein, to address you. His speech was published on May 4th on our annual general meeting website. Thank you. Christian, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Hasso. Dear fellow shareholders, dear colleagues, I'm very excited to welcome you all back here in person today. And of course, a warm welcome to all viewers in the live broadcast. It is a very special pleasure for me to be on stage with our new Chief Financial Officer, Dominic Assam. Dear Dominic, welcome. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Luka Mucic. Luka left SAP this March after 27 years. We wish him only the best for his future endeavors. "2022 was a very special year for SAP. It marked our 50th anniversary. 5 decades of innovation, partnership, and social responsibility. A milestone that we celebrated together with our colleagues, customers, shareholders, and partners across the world. On April the 1st, 1972, our founders, Dietmar Hopp, Hasso Plattner, Klaus Wellenreuter, Klaus Tschira, and Hans-Werner Hector, founded the company SAP. They set out to redefine business software. And together, they forever changed the way the world and the worldwide economy runs. Their innovative thinking and pioneering spirit, together with their courage and drive, laid the foundation for SAP's success. And these qualities are still the basis for our success today. Personally, I'm especially grateful for the opportunity to carry our founders' legacy forward, for the trust placed in me to set this company up for the next 50 years and beyond, and to lead SAP through its biggest transformation in history towards becoming a cloud company. Over the course of my 24 years at SAP, I've had the chance to get to know this company, our community, our customers and partners, and our investors very well. It's exciting to get up every morning and work together with our more than 100,000 colleagues worldwide from over 160 countries to drive positive change for our planet and its people. This has never been more relevant or important than today. Because 2022 was not just our anniversary year. It was also a year marked by many challenges. Conflicts and geopolitical tensions, climate change, the energy crisis, inflation, and volatile markets. We stand in solidarity with the people impacted by the horrendous war in Ukraine, and we hope for the swift restoration of peace. In early 2022, SAP stopped all sales in Russia and Belarus. The wind down of our business operations in these markets is almost complete, and we will make sure to continue to help those affected by this war. I'm very proud when I see how SAP is helping our customers and our communities navigate the challenges of the time we live in. Today, dear shareholders, I'd like to show you how we are doing this, and why SAP is more relevant than ever for every company, regardless of its size. Our vision is to enable each and every one of these companies and every industry to become a network of intelligent, sustainable enterprises. We offer our customers the agility, flexibility, and transparency needed to survive and thrive in today's challenging environment. Over the next few minutes, I will explain to you what exactly I mean by that. Let's start by looking back at the year 2022 to see how SAP made a difference, and then look ahead to what the future will bring. 2022 was one of the most pivotal years in SAP's history. It's been 2.5 years since we announced our new strategy. We decided to fundamentally transform the company and to accelerate our transition to the cloud. We took this step to continuously bring the latest innovations to our customers so that they can transform their enterprises. And in this way, we want to provide business competence to support them. Our new strategy was the right step forward to ensure the long-term success of SAP and value for our customers and for our shareholders, not least them. It has significantly changed the way we work, how we attract new customers and deepen our partnerships with existing ones, how we develop our solutions and operate them securely and stably in the cloud in over 120 countries, and how we ensure that our people and our ecosystem have the skills and expertise they need to do this. At every stage, we have a clear focus on our customers' success. Our new strategy was a big decision that surprised the market, and we have kept our promise. We've delivered. As you can see from our numbers, the decision we made was the right one. Our cloud transformation is in full swing. The fourth quarter 2022 was a clear tipping point in our journey. We have now reached the next phase of our transformation, just as we had planned. We have created a highly resilient business. We have a more predictable revenue of 79% in 2022. Looking at our financial numbers, we met all of our outlook metrics in 2022. The following figures are all at constant currencies. Cloud revenue continued to be our main growth driver, up 24%. Current cloud backlog at constant currencies up 24%. Total revenue grew by 5%. IFRS operating profit was flat, while the non-IFRS operating profit decreased by 7%. All figures at constant currencies. Free cash flow was at 4.35 billion euros. With a market cap of over 142 billion, we are number one in the DAX and number one software company in the Euro Stoxx. We achieved all this despite our exit from Russia and the macroeconomic volatility across the world. Now let's take a look at how our share price has developed recently. I already mentioned our significant decision to turn SAP into a cloud company and consequently to change our business and license models. Our results from 2022 show that we have accelerated our growth. However, due to the macroeconomic situation, technology stocks on the market generally performed at a lower rate, and our share was not immune from this overall trend. At the same time, financial analysts have become increasingly positive about our strategy. A large majority of analysts who cover SAP currently have a buy recommendation, and some institutions name SAP as a top pick in the sector. So this shows that our change in the strategy was the right decision to establish SAP's position as the number one enterprise application company for the long term. Thanks to our very robust and sustainable business model, SAP is more resilient than ever before. In the cloud, we can deliver innovations to the customers more quickly to drive new growth. Our transformation has now passed the tipping point, meaning that we are now able to report double-digit operating profit growth again. That is all reflected in our share price, which has grown more than 27% year to date, far ahead of the DAX and the Nasdaq, and also at a stronger rate than many of our competitors. I know that this change was not easy for you, dear shareholders, but there was no alternative. And today, I would also like to thank you once again for your patience, and for your trust. Of course, we want our shareholders to participate in our success. Therefore, we've proposed an annual dividend of 2.05 euros per share. This is an increase of about 5% over last year's regular dividend. Once again, this shows how we've consistently increased our dividend payments in the last few years. At SAP, we also believe it is important to look beyond just the financials. That's why we also measure and report on non-financial indicators. Our close relationship with our customers allows us to gain open and invaluable feedback. The NPS, the Net Promoter Score for short, is an indicator which expresses how satisfied our customers are with the company. We use it to measure customer loyalty. In 2022, the score decreased by 70 points over last year to a value of 3, hitting the lower end of the revised outlook range. This means we continue to get feedback about our improvement, and we learn from this feedback and use it to continually improve our customer satisfaction. We also value the feedback from our colleagues. The Employee Engagement Index is a good measure of the motivation of our staff to produce good results and drive their company forward. SAP's Employee Engagement Index decreased 3 percentage points to 80%. This is a continued high level of engagement, albeit at the lower end of the revised outlook range. These values declined during the pandemic in the industry, and we launched a number of projects to respond to that. The feedback from our employee survey also highlights many positives. Our Leadership Trust Index score reached an all-time high of 72 in 2022 on a scale of -100 to +100. And our Business Health Culture Index and diversity is another important metric. The proportion of women in management increased to 29.4% in 2022. This is an important step in the right direction. By the end of the year, we want to be at 30%. That deserves an applause, doesn't it? We've also reached a proportion of 35% of women in the workforce, and we look forward to building on this progress in 2023. Dear shareholders, at the end of April, we released our numbers for the first quarter of 2023. The numbers show that SAP is stronger than ever. The following figures are also at constant currencies. Current cloud backlog was up 25% this quarter. Cloud revenue grew by 22%. That strong performance has led to a total revenue growth of 9% in the first quarter. An important indicator of our resilience is our share of more predictable revenue, which rose further to 82%. Beyond that, in Q1, we delivered double-digit non-IFRS operating profit growth, which demonstrates the significance of the fourth quarter 2022 as a tipping point of our transformation. This is why we confirmed our 2023 guidance for continuing operations, only taking out Qualtrics. Even under difficult circumstances, our revenue and profitability have continued to grow. Our ongoing cloud momentum reflects strong demand as our customers recognize our relevance. Going forward, we are on track to show accelerating profitability. And now we're starting with the next part of our transformation. In that phase, we will drive growth through innovation and a sharper focus. At the core of our portfolio are our offerings SAP S/4HANA and the SAP Business Technology Platform. SAP S/4HANA is our core solution for managing all business processes. SAP Business Technology Platform is our central platform, the foundation that makes it possible to integrate and expand the customer's entire IT landscape and automate processes, but also to simplify data landscapes. And with our SAP S/4HANA, we can provide unparalleled performance. This is complemented by our solutions for specific lines of business and industries. And in addition, we have over 2,000 integrated partner solutions. We focus on our core strengths. In March, we announced that we came to an agreement to sell our stake in Qualtrics. We are convinced that this step will unlock significant value for both companies and for their shareholders. SAP can focus more on our cloud business, our cloud growth and profitability, and Qualtrics can extend its leadership in the experience management category. Of course, Qualtrics will also remain a strong partner of SAP. Investing in innovation to drive sustained growth is a major part of our mission. In 2022, we invested about nearly 6 billion euros into R&D. Over the last few years, we have introduced many powerful new offerings and innovations. Earlier this year, we launched SAP DataSphere for the business data of our customer and to bring them together, regardless of whether these are SAP or non-SAP sources. And customers can see in real time what is happening in their business and share this information easily and make faster decisions. Artificial intelligence, AI, is another very exciting area. At SAP, we are focused on bringing the power of this new technology to our applications. We have already integrated over 50 live AI use cases in our SAP solutions. This enables our customers to better forecast supply and demand, for example, to optimize warehousing or to automate processes. At our upcoming Sapphire event next week, we plan to make even more exciting announcements in AI. So you see, we have a bold and promising vision for the future. Dear shareholders, for more than 50 years, SAP has helped customers solve their most pressing needs. Today, we are helping organizations of all sizes and industries to become faster and more agile, to build transparent and resilient supply chains, to make sustainability measurable and to take action. Our solutions offer exactly what our customers need. That is why our strategy is focused on three main objectives. First, we enable our customers to respond rapidly to change, to adapt their business models, to automate processes, and to foster growth and increase growth and productivity. Second, we bring suppliers and buyers together to strengthen their supply chains. Thirdly, we enable our customers to operate sustainably, so that sustainability indicators can be measured based on actual values instead of average data. Let's take a closer look at our strategy. SAP enables business to run at their best. 99 of the 100 largest companies in the world are SAP customers. Our offering, Rise with SAP, is at the heart of our strategy, and it is one of our most successful offerings ever. Rise with SAP helps our existing customers to migrate into the cloud, not only technically, but also use the potential and the advantages of the cloud. In this, the complexity in the on-premise and IT landscape is reduced, and business processes can be standardized, for example, ERP data. And this means that we enable our customers to have constant access to innovation and to automate. Instead, as with our on-premise software, having to migrate to a new release. Let me give you an example. BMW, a quality brand that we all know. BMW and SAP look back on a long-standing strategic partnership. We have been working together for over 3 decades. With RISE with SAP, BMW Group will now move its entire SAP software landscape to the cloud. This will help BMW Group to digitalize faster, more comprehensively and more efficiently in the future. And in production, in logistics, in purchasing and in financials, they will be faster and more effective in their digitalization transformation. Together, we will shape the future of the automotive industry, driven by innovative business processes. Building on the success of RISE with SAP for our existing customers, we announced Grow with SAP in March for mid-market companies. Mid-market companies are very important to SAP, winning new customers and supporting them in their growth and in their scalability, and increasing that potential significantly. Our modular cloud ERP is tailored to the requirements of the respective industries, and with Grow SAP, this can be implemented quickly. RISE and Grow are based on our leading platform, SAP Business Technology Platform. This platform enables our customers to extend and personalize their SAP applications and integrate and connect entire landscapes. In 2022, we expanded the capabilities of the platform with SAP Build. With SAP Build, the people closest to the business problems, finance managers, supply chain specialists, and manufacturing experts, can create apps to automate processes or design advertising spaces without having to write code. SAP Build lessens the burden on professional developers, but it cannot replace them. That's why SAP is committed to upskilling 2 million developers worldwide by 2025 to help people launch careers within our ecosystem. Let's now turn to the second objective of our strategy. Many have been confronted with a problem that the local DIY store or pharmacy doesn't stock what is in demand. The problem are disruptions in the supply chains. More parts of the supply chains are outsourced, and they are becoming more complex and more fragile and very vulnerable to unforeseen events, changes in demand, or geopolitical tensions. Basically, what supply chains are missing is end-to-end transparency from A to Z, and as a result, there is a lack of stability and flexibility. Disrupted supply chains put the operation of businesses at risk. To address this, we have built the SAP Business Network, through which we connect millions of companies worldwide, allowing organizations to benefit from a social network for enterprises. Let's have a look at how Cirque du Soleil does this.
With 38 shows running on 5 continents, Cirque du Soleil is the leading brand in live entertainment, but procurement and sourcing are highly complex. With our resident shows, we manage huge volume of purchases and procure a wide range of goods, going from niche makeup, specific theatrical equipment to pyrotechnics. Ordering used to be on credit cards and POs with vendors all over the map. Processes needed to be optimized. Cirque du Soleil found that SAP Ariba and SAP Business Network have the digital muscle to perform at the highest level. For the resident shows, Cirque du Soleil creates catalogs that bring control back to end users. Orders flow right to approved suppliers with pre-negotiated prices. Guided buying makes it easy. End users select the preferred supplier, order what they need, and receive it on time. It's up to 5 times faster than the previous system, and it has a positive financial impact. For the touring shows, which have approximately 470 containers and trailers in circulation, SAP Ariba Strategic Sourcing streamlines the big RFPs. As an example, equipment transportation by sea, air, or ground. We count more than 1,900 vendors worldwide for different types of commodities. With an integrated business network, every process, cost and scenario is tracked and the decision complies with policy. Ariba helps us in keeping our processes aligned globally and focus on what we do best. Invoke the imagination, provoke the senses, and move the hearts of millions of people around the world.
As you can see, or you could see in the video, our solutions make processing international business operations easy. But flexibility and agility are never more important when it comes to helping people in need. That is why I'm especially proud of how SAP Business Network has helped people in the Ukraine and also in Turkey and Syria after the recent earthquakes, making it easier for relief organizations to find the supplies they need quickly and efficiently. Greater transparency across a supply chain allows businesses to identify the most responsible and sustainable suppliers and to take immediate action to improve their ESG performance. Which leads me to the third part of our strategy. SAP is committed to enable organizations to truly operate sustainably because climate change is upon us. The time to act is now. At SAP, we lead by example. By the end of 2023, we will become carbon neutral in our own operations. We moved this date up from our original plan of 2025, but we decided that we should achieve this earlier. Our aim is to achieve net zero along the entire value chain by 2030. Our customers generate 87% of total global commerce. By helping our customers run their businesses in a more sustainable way, we can make a real difference. Let's have a look at another SAP customer.
With the current way of producing steel, we are contributing to the CO2 footprint of Germany with roughly 1%, which is about 8 million tons. So that for sure is an issue we have to tackle. Salzgitter is one of the largest European steel makers. We have a long history in producing steel. I'm truly passionate about sustainability and redefining the way we do our business from a line kind of approach towards a circular approach. And we have a clear path to decarbonize our way of producing steel. In order to make that a success, you need strong partners. You need partners like SAP to support us in getting there. It's cool to say by now that yes, we're going to make it. Our SAP S/4HANA transformation program has major goals. We can build on this with SAP Product Footprint Management, SAP Environment, Health and Safety Management, and SAP Sustainability Control Tower, leveraging SAP S/4HANA and Business Logic to gain insight into our environmental data. This gives us the ability to drive more innovations with SAP S/4HANA. I think that partnership that we have here enables sustainable change towards a sustainable future. Ultimately, it's about the two companies having the shared goals of a sustainable world that we are going to create together.
Salzgitter, a pioneer on the road to green steel. Together we're driving the digital transformation of the German steel producer, the goal setting the course for climate-friendly steel production. Steel that is ultimately sewed on to create more climate-friendly products built by other companies. With SAP solutions, Salzgitter will measure their overall carbon footprint, allowing for smarter business choices across the entire product lifecycle. Carbon reporting is becoming mandatory for many companies. Going forward, companies need to treat carbon like financial data. That's why we at SAP are investing in our vision of a green ledger. This will allow us to do exactly that. SAP can offer that transparency to enable organizations to take action. With sustainability, we're talking about more than this. It is about protecting human rights. It is about humane working conditions. Today's companies are concerned about more than just maximizing their profit. Dear shareholders, at SAP, we take our broader social responsibility very seriously. In 2022, SAP colleagues performed no less than 117,000 hours of volunteer work. In total, more than 20,000 SAP colleagues impacted 5 million lives with their commitment. Our corporate social responsibility teams focus on 3 pillars: accelerating social business, building future skills, and collaborating for sustainability. For example, through our partnership with UNICEF and Generation Unlimited, we enabled more than 7.6 million young people in India, Turkey, and Vietnam to access training in IT and business skills. In summary, we firmly believe that together with our customers, colleagues, and partners around the world, we can turn the world's greatest challenges into opportunities to create a better and more sustainable future. 2022 was not only a milestone anniversary for SAP, it was also one of the most pivotal years in our history. In 2023, we remain committed to further increasing our speed of innovation. We are deepening our focus on delivering lifetime value to current and new customers in the cloud. Another focus are business fields with high growth opportunities where SAP can lead. So, as you can see, we have everything we need to realize our bold ambitions. The right strategy, an unmatched portfolio, innovation power, the right focus, a strong customer base, an extensive ecosystem of partners, and of course, last but definitely not least, our people who give their best for SAP day in, day out, expanding our position as the #1 enterprise application company on the planet. Finally, dear shareholders, I want to express my thanks for your trust in SAP. I'm looking forward to making 2023 another successful year and achieving our goals together with our employees and partners. With dedication and passion, we will pursue our vision. We will create the groundwork to enable every organization and every industry to become a network of intelligent, sustainable enterprises. Thank you.
Ja, vielen Dank.
Thank you, Christian. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm now calling for speakers to item 1 and all other agenda items, that is to say, items 2 to 11 in the invitation to the meeting that is available in the Bundesanzeiger, the Federal Gazette, and our website, and which also contains the management's proposals. We propose today that a dividend of 2.05 euros per share be paid from SAP's earnings for 2022. Please note that the number of shares carrying dividend rights increased prior to today's date. As advised in the meeting invitation, the Executive Board and the Supervisory Board have therefore adjusted their proposal on the appropriation of retained earnings to reflect the new number of shares entitled to dividend. However, the proposed distribution of 2.05 euros per share has not changed. At the time of today's annual general meeting of shareholders, there are 1,168,465,620 shares that qualify for dividend. The Executive Board and the Supervisory Board therefore propose the following amended resolution. The retained earnings of 10,7,892,411.01 euros, 441.01 euros from 2022 fiscal year report in the annual financial statements and management report be applied as follows. Payment of a dividend in the amount of 2.05 euros per non-par value share carrying dividend rights. This corresponds to a total distribution of 2,395,354,521 euros. Transfer to other revenue reserves 0 euros and carry forward of the remainder to new account, namely 7,612,537,920.01 euros. This amended proposed resolution was also published on SAP's website and can be accessed there in the Annual General Meeting of Shareholders section. When we come to the votes later, the vote on agenda item 2 relates to the adjusted version of the proposed resolution that I have just read out. Under the other agenda items, we propose the formal approval of the acts of the Executive Board and the Supervisory Board in the preceding fiscal year, the approval of the compensation report, the renewal of the authorization to buy back and use the company's shares for treasury, and the authorization to use derivatives in connection with the share buyback. Under item 9 of the agenda, we ask you, as already mentioned, to approve the revised compensation system for our Executive Board members, which is described in detail in the invitation to this meeting. Similarly, an amendment to Supervisory Board compensation is being proposed under agenda item 10. Following Frederica Red's appointment as lead independent director in May last year, it has become apparent that this role involves considerable additional time and effort that is currently not adequately remunerated. We therefore propose that the lead independent director be granted an additional compensation of 50,000 euros and that the provisions for Supervisory Board compensation be amended accordingly. Finally, agenda item 11 concerns 2 additions to the Articles of Incorporation. The first addition would enable us to hold future general meetings in virtual format in accordance with the new provisions of the German Stock Corporation Act, if the Executive Board considers to be sensible and appropriate. The proposed authorization should give us the necessary flexibility in this regard and would be limited to 2 years. However, within the scope of this authorization, the Executive Board will always check carefully and on a case-by-case basis whether the respective annual general meeting of shareholders is to take place in the virtual format or in the physical presence of shareholders. In doing so, the Executive Board will consider both the interests of the company and the interests of the shareholders. The appropriate safeguarding of shareholders' rights will be a central aspect in this decision. The second addition would permit the Supervisory Board members to attend the general meeting of shareholders by way of video and audio transmission if that general meeting of shareholders is held virtually. This permission reflects the fact that Supervisory Board members traditionally have more of a passive role in the general meeting of shareholders. The necessary flexibility provided by the proposed amendment would allow members to avoid the time and expense of traveling to a virtual annual general meeting if the company chooses a virtual format. I ask for your agreement on these 2 proposals as well. Ladies and gentlemen, before we come to the request to speak, I would like to draw your attention to the fact that this year's voting here in the hall will take place for the first time with the aid of tablets. If you want to participate in the vote, please use the corresponding voting document that you were given in the entrance area. As in the past, we will vote here in the hall using the so-called subtraction procedure. Only the no votes and abstentions are entered and counted in the tablet. The yes votes are then calculated by subtracting the no votes and abstentions from the current attendance count. Therefore, you do not need to submit a vote if you agree to the management's proposals. I will give you more detailed information on the voting procedure following the general debate. I hereby open the discussion section of the meeting, which I will take as a general debate on all agenda items. And